What's going on, everybody? So, yeah, I took a quick, short little video that I'll probably post up. That it'll either go up before this video or after this video, whatever. If it goes up, it's just footage of me in a drop yard talking about. I was saying, so you want to be a flatbedder, because I got stuck in that drop yard, just trying to back in a step deck that I had. And then I dug myself out with a shovel, because there's like almost a foot of snow, and hadn't been plowed. Got stuck dropping the drop deck. Had to dig myself out of that. Then I dug out the flatbed, and then I had to shovel a foot of snow off the deck of the flatbed. But let me run the wipers here. That's what it looks like outside right now. I don't know if you could see the snow falling down. But that's what it looks like outside. It's a pretty gnarly winter storm. And I've been through storms like this before. By the way, this was the very last place to park in this entire parking lot. There's a place to park right next to me, but I don't know. I think eventually someone's going to try to park there. But there's really not a whole lot of room. That's why I'm pushed way in the back. But I've been through winter storms and blizzards and ice storms and freezing rain and stuff. I've been through storms like this before. This is a pretty hardcore storm. It started out really mellow, and I was sitting at a truck stop. I was waiting on a load. I got my load, and then it doesn't pick up till tomorrow, and it's only a couple hours away. So I had to hit up a drop yard, ditch the step deck, and then swap it for a flatbed so I could pick this load up tomorrow. And then I was just gonna drive to the shipper and park there and sleep there. It's a place I go all the time, so they got lots of parking. So I was gonna park there overnight and just wake up in the morning and grab my load. And I still do have plenty of time on the clock. Problem is, I was pushing it through this storm, and gradually the road conditions just started to deteriorate more and more and more. I was on a highway. I'm up in Wisconsin. I was on a highway with I think it's a 70-mile-an-hour speed limit, and I think I was doing 50. I was doing about 50 miles. I mean, at first I was doing, I think, 55, 60, because the road was actually relatively clear. There wasn't hardly any snow on the road. The road was wet, but the road was clear and traffic was very, very light. And then as the left lane, started to kind of get snow packed, and things started to get more slushy, then I knocked it down to 50 miles an hour. And then things just kept deteriorating. I just had to keep knocking the speed down. And I've been through blizzards before, and hard snow and stuff like that, and I've just pushed through them, even if it's at 30 or 35 miles an hour, with the wipers going and just the music off and just focused and stuff like that. The difference between this storm and most of the other storms that I've gone through, because normally I don't stop for storms, typically. I ask myself in my head, is this something I want to stop for, or at what point do I want to stop for this weather? And 9 times out of 10, I don't stop. I just slow it down and just increase my following distance to like a quarter mile and stuff like that. The difference between this storm is, like, the temperature outside is about 33, 34 degrees. And the wind is not blowing very hard. Basically, I turned off my windshield wipers. Now you see how wet my windshield is. This is a really wet, sloppy snow. It's melting as soon as almost as soon as it falls. But there's so much of it falling that it's actually building up and melting at the same. So it's like it's melting onto the road, then more snow is stacking on top of it. So it's basically snow with slush underneath it, right? And so it started getting really fucking slippery. You know what I mean? Like there was a truck I was behind. You know, he was way up ahead of me, and he was going a little bit faster than I was when I was doing. I think I was doing about 50 or so, and we sit way up in the distance. You know, visibility is lower than normal, but way up in the distance we could see red and blue flashing lights. So, you know, I start slowing down, and he starts slowing down, and I'm empty. I just picked up an empty trailer, right? So, you know, I'm just feathering the brakes. You know, I'm just giving it a real light. You know, I'm basically just gonna ride the brakes all the way down there. Well, this truck in front of me, he starts, you know, he's getting closer and closer, and I'm like, dude, don't slow down that fast, man, because I'm having to apply more and more pressure to the brake, you know, and I'm just giving it just this gentlest touch, you know, and you know, I'm trying to, I don't, you know, I'm trying to maintain this following distance, but this guy starts slowing down. This truck with this RGN trailer starts slowing down faster and faster. You know, like I don't know what the fuck he was doing, but you know, I'm having to slow down because I don't want to get so close to him. And I look at my window, and you know, I can see my trailer start to creep over towards the passenger side. So I feather the brake, I let off and reapply, and the trailer catches again. You know, and I basically had to do that once or twice because the trailer end started creeping out on me towards the shoulder of the road. You know, and I didn't get that close to the RGN. I still had plenty of space. I was able to slow down like way before we got to this accident scene where one car, you know, pickup truck had drove into the center ditch, the center median, and then like 50 yards further down, another car had spun out on the other side. You know, so I was like, okay, shit's, you know, I've been through a lot of snowstorms, you know, but here's another difference. I've never been through one of the, I don't know if I've ever driven through weather like this empty. You know, most of my time is spent loaded. You know, I'm really not, you know, like any trucker, we don't spend a whole lot of time deadheading, you know, but this is one of the very few times, if ever, that I've had to drive through like really slushy, wet snow, like snow that's like, as soon as it falls on your jacket, it melts. You know, it doesn't even build up on your jacket or anything. You know, this wet, sloppy snow, this slushy snow. I've never had to drive through it empty. So I don't have all that weight pushing me down onto the road, you know, to where I've got better steering, better acceleration, and better braking capabilities. All that's out the window. So, you know, I drive on for a little while longer, and you know, the road starts to disappear to the point where we're just basically driving on slush. And then I'm thinking, you know, I can't drive through this empty anymore, you know, because I'm thinking ahead. I'm thinking, you know, if something happens and I have to slow down, like somebody loses control in front of me and I have to slow down to keep from hitting them, and if the end of my trailer fishtails out, creeps out, and hits another car that's trying to pass me on the left or the right or whatever the fuck, I just, you know, I said, fuck it, I gotta stop, you know. So about 6 miles further down the road was a Roadies that I've been here a bunch of times, and so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to that Roadies. But there ain't a whole lot of parking at this here Roadies. You know what I mean? There really is not. And you know, the shitty thing about parking, especially when you want to get out of a storm like this, is everybody else has got the same fucking idea. And it was already, I mean, I think I've been stopped for half an hour now or something, and it's almost 7:30. So I was pulling into this place 6:45, 7 o'clock-ish or whatever. So, you know, that's already kind of around the time, 6, 7, 8 o'clock hour when truck stops start filling up. And so I pulled in here behind that RGN truck, who I guess had the same idea. He was like, fuck this shit, I ain't doing it anymore. You know, smart man. Oh yeah, I forgot, before I continue on with my story, when I came out of that drop yard, there's a truck stop, like it's one of our drop yards, our trailer drop yards, and it's down a road. It's like you exit off the interstate, and it's down a road like most drop yards are, and it's out in the country. But anyways, there's a truck stop right there. Like you pass by it to go to the drop yard. And when I was coming back out of the drop yard, I was coming down this road to get back on get over back to the interstate. You got to make a couple of turns to get back to the interstate. But that's down that road is where the exit for this truck stop is, right? And the road is just covered in snow. You know, not plow one has gone down that road. So, you know, I had my differentials locked and traction control was off, and I'm just creepy crawling down this fucked up road, you know, until I get to the light and I can turn and stuff. And a guy in a Volvo, of all trucks, I don't know what it is with Volvo drivers. I'll say it. I don't know what it is with these Volvo drivers, man. Anytime I have an issue, it's always a Volvo driver. But anyways, I'm going down this road and I see him pull up. Now I see him, you know, I'm driving, I look over at him, I see him, and I look straight. And then I see him here in my peripheral vision. He like slowed down and then he just starts coming out. And I'm like, oh shit! And I was going really slow, but like I was basically driving on snow, you know. So I I blew the horn and I applied the brakes, you know, and he pulls out, he's in the road and he hears my horn and comes to a stop. And so basically I apply my brakes and I just kind of glide to a stop, you know, and he's maybe 30-40 feet away or something like that. I didn't even really get close to him, but I was thinking, dude, if I was loaded, I probably would have slid all the way into you. Like, what the fuck, man? You know, I'm gonna go back on my dash cam and see if I can find that clip later on. But I was like, all right, man. You know, he starts going, he stops, and I think he was looking in his mirror to see if I was gonna hit him, and I didn't hit him, and he just goes, and I go, and I'm like, all right, you know, we're good, you know. And you know what? The guy blatantly fucking pulled out in front of me, but I understand why he did, is because that road I was coming down is like a desolate road that like no one ever comes down. You know, so he wasn't expecting anyone to come down that road. He fucking should have, you know. But I understand why he did it. He's still wrong, but whatever. You know, that's why I was you know, I'm always waiting for some shit like that to happen. That's what you're supposed to do anyway. You know, and that's why I was, you know, and not to mention the ground. You know, it's in the middle of a winter storm. I was probably going like 15 miles an hour down this road, you know. But anyways, back to my story. So, you know, I pull in behind this RGN guy that I was behind earlier. We pull through the truck stop, and we pull into the back dirt lot here, you know, and like we're looking for parking, and we don't see anything. Well, he reaches the end of the row of trucks and then turns like towards the exit. And I come down here to the corner and I look, and behind the last truck here is really, this is 2 spaces. I mean, I'm probably parked over the line because you can't see the lines, because, you know, I didn't want to get too close to this guy. But somebody is probably going to try to squeeze in over there, and they're going to end up running over a bunch of bushes and shit like that. But hey, you know, just don't hit my truck on the way in. You know, and I'm thinking that guy's screwed up, because now he's gonna backtrack around and see if there's somewhere else he can park, and I'm gonna nab this fucking spot. You know, and sure enough, he came back through when I was backing in, and he was probably like, damn, I should have grabbed that spot. But you snooze, you lose, man. And you know what? Even if he had parked here, and I probably wouldn't have parked over there, I would have made some parking, dude. Because I ain't going back out in that shit. Not even to go down to the next truck stop. Fuck no. Like, right there's a little car wash, right? Let me show you. You see that little green building? It's like an automated car wash, you know, that you drive through. Well, ain't nobody getting their car washed in this weather. So I probably would have spun around and backed my truck right up to the entrance to that car wash, or something like that. You know, what's anybody, or you know, turn or spun around and park next to this other guy over here. What's anybody gonna say? Hey man, I'm trying to get my car washed. I'm trying to get all the snow washed off. Ain't nobody using that fucking car wash. You know, I would have figured something out. I would have parked over here on the entrance. I would have done something. You know, because it's like, what else can you do? It's just like when you're out of hours, man. You're out of hours, you're out of hours. Not to mention, in a storm like this, you know, it's like, what's somebody gonna say to you for parking in a weird fucked up place, you know? Like, hey man, like, look, you can't park here. I say, fuck you, man. I'm parking here, dude. There ain't nowhere else to go. As far as I'm concerned, we're fucking snowed in here. It's like, it's snowing even harder now. You know, now it's like, it's not even coming down a little sideways. Now it's coming like straight down. You know, it's raining, it's snowing its ass off right now. You know, and all the plows I saw on the highway were going the other fucking way. I saw like 3 plows go by plowing the other side. And I'm like, when the fuck are we gonna get some love on the fucking eastbound side? But anyways, whatever. I know they're doing their job. I can't blame, you know, hey, God save the fucking snowplow drivers. Don't think for a minute I'm talking shit about those guys. Those guys they're fucking angels in yellow reflective jackets as far as I'm concerned. You know, if I ever meet one at a fucking bar, I'm buying him a beer or whatever he's drinking, because the plow drivers, love those guys. You know, they do a lot for us. They really fucking do. But anyways, so I pull up straight so I can whip into this spot, you know, and, you know, I start backing in, and I'm trying to get an angle. I don't want to get too close to the snowbank over here, because I see plants and snow, and, you know, I don't want to drop a steer tire off over a curb. I don't know what the fuck's under all that snow, so I want to stay away from it. So I'm trying to, you know, get my trailer at a good angle and get my tractor away from that side, and I'm backing in here. You know, and I'm like, okay, I'm at a fucked up angle. I need to pull forward and straighten out my tractor a little bit, right? And my differentials are fucking locked. You know, I go to put it into third gear, or second gear, or whatever gear I was going into, and she doesn't move. So I'm like, oh, fuck. So, you know, I start rocking it. I put it into reverse, and I give it a couple inches, and I put it into second, give it a couple inches, and I'm rocking back and forth. That's how I got unstuck from the drop yard earlier. I mean, I've done that a million times. Just rock the truck backward and forward. You know, a lot of the times, if you don't spin the wheels too much, you can get out of most sticky situations if you just rock the truck, you know, and you don't spin the fuck out of your wheels and shit like that. You know, if you spin out and you create a fucking pothole, and you done fucked yourself. But you know, I started rocking myself out. Right? I look in my mirror, and the ground kind of slopes down that way. And so as I was rocking the truck, the drive axles were sliding to the left every time I moved forward. And I look in my mirror, and my drive tires are getting close to the front corner of this guy's truck. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know, what the hell's going on? My truck was like, you know, the corner of the trailer and my drive axles were moving towards the front corner of his truck. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know, so so now I'm trying to, you know, give it the kid gloves even more. I'm trying to be even more gentle with it. You know, just rock it gently forward, gently back. And it just keeps inching just little by little towards the nose of this guy's truck. And I'm like, fuck. So I stop, and I pull the brakes, and I grab my fucking snow shovel. Again, that snow shovel's gotten a lot of work this winter, let alone today. You know what I mean? And it's just a cheap $8 snow shovel from like Walmart or whatever, but I keep it in my truck all winter long. In fact, I was at the yard the other day up in Marshfield, where my pickup truck is. I was gonna take the snow shovel out and throw it in my truck, because I figured I didn't need it anymore for the season. I think that next morning or that next day, like, I needed it to dig myself out. You know, or no, I picked up a preloaded trailer from a drop yard, from a shipper's drop yard, and there was 2 feet of fucking snow on it. So I had to dig 2 feet of snow off the entire trailer just so I could strap it down. You know, so I was like, fuck it, we're probably keeping the shovel in here till maybe fucking June or May, or at least May, but maybe even June. I don't know. I may just leave the fucking snow shovel in here year round, you know. Because it's like, by the time, because every year I take all of my winter clothing and my winter equipment, like my snow shovel and my snow cleats and all my warm clothes and jackets and shit, and I put them in my pickup truck. I throw them in the back seat for the warm months. It gives me more space in here. I don't have so much fucking shit, you know. And then when it starts getting colder outside, I'll go and pick it all up again. But you know, it's like it's only warm for like 4 or 5 months, and then it's like I start needing all my winter shit again. So it's almost like, what's the fucking point? But anyways, you know, I get back there and I shovel all the snow out from under all the drive tires and in front of them, behind them, all the way down to the sand. So where I'm like digging up the muddy sand and throwing it, so I'm on the sand, on the grit, you know. But you know, and I try it again, and it's not moving. You know, it's even on the sand, it's not want to do anything. I'm thinking, you know, I need to rock the shit out of it. I need to rock it like a foot back and then like a foot forward to get out of this. But I'm getting so close to this guy's fucking truck, I'm afraid to make a move, you know, or else I'll just slide right into it, like smash his mirror or fuck up his hood and stuff like that, you know. And it's an old school International, you know. It's like 95% chance to owner operator's truck. So I'm like, you know, I don't want to fuck up. I don't need to hit another truck, right? So I go and I knock on the guy's door, and I'm standing in the snow waiting, and I wait a few minutes, and it looked like the sleeper moved, but nobody came to the door. So I knocked again, and I'm just standing there waiting, you know, and I'm like looking through the window like, what the fuck, man? I mean, I'm thinking like, what the I guess I'll just sit where I am. I don't fucking know, you know. So I'm like, whatever. So I go back there and I dig out some more snow and sand, and I was about to just get back in my truck and hang out. But I see a guy walking out from the truck stop, and I look over, and it was this old guy, and he's probably in his early mid-50s or something like that. I'm like, say man, is this your truck here? And it was so I knew what he was gonna think when I said that. I saw the look on his face. I knew he was gonna think, this fucking asshole just backed into my truck. This fucking mega carrier driving son of a bitch just backed into my truck. He probably paid it off 5 years ago or some shit. You know, it's probably never been in an accident or some shit like that. I'm like, look, man, I'm trying to back in, and I can't get traction, and the rear end keeps sliding down this little slope closer to your truck, and you know, I need to rock it out, but I'm afraid to make a move because I don't want to hit your truck. So you think maybe you could, you know, scoot the nose over for me, you know, or something like that? He's like, yeah. He's like, I got plenty of space behind me. I'll just go ahead and back up. And I'm like, yeah, that'd be perfect, man. And then I can get out of this and stuff. And he jumps in, you know, he backs up. There's a bunch of space back there. I was able to rock it and then get it out. And I got it out almost immediately, you know. And I probably could have done that where I was, but I did not want to take the risk. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, it's like say for instance, like no matter what I did, I could not get traction. It would be better for me to call a tow truck out to pull me, to winch me forward, than it would be for me to hit his truck by accident. You know, and in this type of fucking weather, you may not get a tow truck tonight. You may have to wait till tomorrow, because they're probably busy as fuck, and B, it'd take them forever to get here. Not to mention, they want to be yanking trucks out of ditches. They don't want to come to some truck stop and pull a guy 10 feet out of the snow. So I probably just would have, and he had enough, even with me where I was at, he had enough room to squeeze out. So even if I slept in that weird cockeyed position, he still could have gotten out in the morning. He's a reefer driver. He's probably going to leave at like 2 a.m. or some crazy shit. Or, I don't know, maybe he's going to ride out the storm till tomorrow morning. I don't think I'm leaving till probably 7 or 8. You know, I think this weather is supposed to stop in a couple of hours. And that'll give the time, plow trucks will be able to run all night. I think by the time I wake up in the morning, I think maybe it's supposed to be sunny, I don't know. I thought the weather said tomorrow was going to be sunny. And warm up just a little bit, so I think the roads will be nice in the morning. But, you know, Anyways, the guy, I get up into my spot, and I dig out all the snow in front of my drive tires so I can roll forward and sit on the sand instead of sitting on the snow overnight. Because snow, just a little chemistry lesson, I guess. For anybody who doesn't know about a whole lot about winter driving, snow is ice, right? It's little tiny ass little flakes of ice, right? So when you park a heavy ass truck on top of a bunch of snow, you compact it into fucking ice, especially if you sit on it all night. So if you park on snow, and like loose snow, and what happens is you'll sink onto it, and you'll compact it literally into a block of ice, so that in the morning when you wake up to go, like your wheels will, because snow is going to build up as it's falling in front of your tire, in front of and behind your tires. So basically, you're going to have like wheel chalked in by snow, and then underneath you is ice, and you just sit and spin, and hopefully you can dig your way out of it. So, so a lot of guys, what they'll do is they roll forward and roll back and crush that snow ahead of time, so that in the morning, it's easier for them to roll out. But I decided I'll dig out that space. I dig it down, I'll dig through the snow and the ice and slush all the way to the sand, and I'll sit right on the dirt and the sand, so that way in the morning I'll have a little bit of grip, so I can get the fuck out of here. I mean, they got a pickup truck running around plowing this bitch, but he's gonna have to work. I mean, if I don't know, if I were him, I don't even know if I'd be plowing right now. I mean, I guess he's out making money and shit, but it's like, if I were him, I'd start plowing this bitch around 9 o'clock when the snow stops. Because the way it's falling right now, it's like you can plow all you fucking want, I guess, but it ain't gonna do a whole lot of good. I mean, it'd be nice if he plowed this area in front of my truck, but I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, it's only 7:40. There's gonna be so many trucks rolling through this place trying to find places to park. I mean, if I couldn't have parked here, I would have parked across from the fuel islands, or over by this car wash, or somewhere. We would have figured it out, ladies and gentlemen. We would have figured something to fuck out. I would have parked long ways or sideways, or I would have found a place to stick this motherfucker till morning. I can't drive in this shit empty. If I was 75,000 or 70,000 pounds and up, or at the bare minimum 65,000 pounds or something like that, hauling a normal load, I could trudge through something like this at 25, 30 miles an hour, if I wanted to. It would take me a long fucking time, and it'd be really nerve-wracking and a total pain in the ass, but if I wanted to, I could make it, and I'd probably be fine if I had the weight on my back to give me the extra traction, braking, acceleration, steering, all that good shit. But empty, no dice, man. It ain't happening. Not in this shit. All it takes is one thing to fuck up, and I gotta tap the brakes, and like I was just feathering the brakes, and my trailer was wanting to break loose back there. So I'm like, fuck this. This is not gonna work. So you know what? It's early. It's only 7:40. I ain't gotta get up till like 6 in the morning. Man, I'm gonna hang out. I'm gonna eat dinner. I gotta walk the dog, which is gonna be us jumping out for 5 minutes, her peeing, and then it's jumping right back in. I gotta walk the dog. I'm gonna eat dinner, watch a movie. I might play some Xbox. Got me some new Xbox games, dude. I'm gonna relax, dude. Fuck it. I'm off now, man. I'm off for the next 11 hours, I guess. What is it? 7:40. I'm starting out at 7. Yeah. Got 11 hours to myself, man. So, that's it. I just wanted to tell that little story. You know what I mean? I've had people ask me about driving through snow. How do you decide when you're going to stop and when you're going to start and this and that? Or, how do you decide what you're going to drive through? And, I mean, a lot of it's kind of experience. A lot of it is, when I say a lot of this job is the things you learn is just by experience. And when I say it's by experience, it means that, it's almost like, I don't know any other way to explain this, but it's kind of like you push the envelope just a millimeter further, just a millimeter, you know, and then you see what happens. Now, the problem with that is, one day you push the envelope just too fucking far and you get into an accident or something like that. So what it requires is you have to be able to learn the capabilities, you know, and dimensions of your vehicle, and get the feel for it and know how it rides under certain conditions, certain weights and things like that. To the point where, like, until you know that vehicle, you can't push the envelope at all. But I've been driving this fucking vehicle, this truck, for almost 2 years now. So when I know when something doesn't feel right. So that at that point, when you're really, really used to a truck and trailer setup and things like that, I could push that envelope a millimeter at a time. And when I kind of, like, when I'm driving down a slushy road at 35, 40 miles an hour, and I could feel the variations in the steering wheel. I could feel the steering wheel just slightly doing something that it typically doesn't do. Then I know, like, in these particular conditions, with this weight, this speed, too fast. I've got to knock it down to 25, 30. That's an example of how you learn. You know, for instance, and it's the same thing with, like, how fast would you want to take a curve? You know, like, you take a curve, like, with particular loads and stuff like that. You know, I'll take a curve at 45, and, you know, if I kind of, you know, I feel something that's, you know, I feel the truck move just a little bit more than, you know, it might typically do. I'll think, you know what, okay, with this type of load, the center of gravity is higher than normal. You know, I now know. And you know what? I learned a lot of that shit, you know, a while ago. You know, I mean, it's kind of the same with most trucks, but especially when you have one particular make, model, or whatever that you're used to. You know, that's kind of how you learn things. It's just through experience. You know, you learn how and where and when to push that envelope, and then you can sense when to bring it back. You know, when to reel it back in before anything happens. Now, I don't suggest doing that until you've been with that truck and you've got some experience and you know the truck and you know what it's going to do in certain situations. And then, you know, you can figure out how it's going to, you can figure out what the limits of the vehicle are, stuff like that. I'm not saying you should push your vehicle to the limit all the time, but you get what I'm saying. But anyways, this video's over. I'm going to relax, man. I'm going to try to stay warm and shit. But anyways, you guys try to stay warm too. And if you're in the South enjoying that warm weather, fuck you, man. I'm jealous. But I'll talk to you guys later. I'll have another video out soon. But I'll talk to you guys later. Come on now.